Buy, deliver with the two-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.
Three, two, one, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, episode 71, and we're joined by Tom Bridewell down at Oulton Park. How are you doing, Tom?
Yes, I'm very well. Very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you two fine chaps.
Oh my God, the lies have already begun. Listen, it was like a light switch before this interview. I think we met the real Tommy Bridewell, which is fantastic. But now we have the Motor Rapino Ducati Oxford rider. He's just like, you could see the sweat. He's sweating like a prison snitch, young, and I'm loving it. By the way, can one of us take our hats off? We look like a right bunch of bellends. I'm gonna take. We look like that's it. I even look worse. There we go. We just look like a right bunch of BSB people. So there we go. Grand.
Now, I think it was last round, the start of the BSB programme, Eurosport did a fantastic little like a set thing at your house, really, really moving. Obviously talking about Ollie and a little bit like how you got into racing and stuff. Let's go back right to the start.
So someone's done the interview, so if you just plug into that, listen to that. There we go. So
Right, I'll see you later then.
Really good interview. Tight work, Chrissy. Done. Tight work. Re-advertising someone else. Brilliant.
It showed you obviously like out in the back garden and stuff as proper little lads, and then was it a case? Did you go into motocross or was it like junior?
No, mini motorwing actually. Yeah. So we would just always be like just fucking about really, like non-stop. Like I got kicked out of school.
For what? Obviously, it's a collection of things.
Yeah, no, what I've done is, I'll tell you one of them actually, is my, I can't even remember what teacher he was now, said to me that, because I was just motorbikes, and still am motorbikes through and through, and then he said to me, look Tom, he said, you'll never make a success from racing a motorbike, so you should concentrate on school. So I basically done the more and said, well, I'm going to bring a baseball bat in tomorrow and hit you across the head, and then got sent to the headmaster's office.
And you openly threatened him as well.
And dragged him through a fucking letterbox. Anyway.
Do you want some? Yeah. You know that little football hooligan? I can just imagine him like that. Do you want some?
Yeah, so I was my services weren't acquired for long at school, to be honest.
Was this secondary school?
Yes, yeah.
Hey, the school's gone downhill since Tommy left. Hey, God, the academic standards. There you go. Have you got? Sorry, you know he's a maths teacher, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you got any of him? Students?
Any advice?
Like that, you know what I mean? Like all
so you're mad. Oh fucking hell, you're like you're a clever fucker then.
He is. You can't still figure out his lap times though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can't work out how to go faster.
That's it. Have you had any students like him then?
I've never been threatened with a baseball bat yet.
Oh, it's coming.
So you went to school. You got dragged to the headmaster. Sorry. You threatened him with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And then he went, right, well, school's not for me. School packed in. And he thought, I better focus on a long career in motorcycles.
And then, well, luckily, Dad managed to broker a deal, oddly. I will just rewind that. I'm not a violent person. But it's like saying to a kid, they're so passionate that, like, you're gonna be shit at racing a motorbike or whatever, and that's all I done in life, nothing else. Literally, I didn't do swimming, fucking nothing. So all I done in life was ride a motorbike. That's it. So you can't say to a kid you'll never make a career in that, because it's like
they're not even seeing
stoking a fire.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was a raging fucking bull back then. So
what age was this? You knew what a baseball bat
was. Year 9, I got kicked out.
All right, year 9. So what inspired you to get to that passion? Like 9-year-old going, motorbikes. Year 9, whatever. But you know what I mean? I'm just thinking, what was your first introduction into motorcycles, bar mini moto? Like, what was your first memory of it?
PW and a QR back then. It was a Honda QRs, wasn't it? So we used to go up on the patch, tearing up and down, and it was just mega. I can remember sitting in what's that? Fucking French. Yeah, French. And I'd sit there on a Friday and I'd be like, oh, fuck, this is boring. But I'm going mini motoring tonight. And I know Dad told me if I was good today at school, I'd go mini motoring tonight. And that was what it was like. So I just had to be good only on a Friday to get through the day. And then stuff started, like I used to stop at the shop on the way, buy a bag of bouncy balls, and then go round the school launching them at all the clocks, smashed all the clocks. Just naughty stuff, really. But like I said, I'm not a bad boy. Your clocks are getting it.
Yeah. Do you know, after you got kicked out, did you have to finish like homeschooling or finish your do your qualifications like from home?
That is very correct, because I'm quite a clever chap. I got a UF and a G in my exams because Dad managed to broker a deal with them that weirdly I clicked that in year 9, but somehow managed to go back. What year is it you finished school?
11.
So went back in year 11 just for 3 exams. Didn't do nothing but when I got kicked out, I was just working in the garage, and then I was happy, I just messing about on motorbikes, on cars, and I don't know much. I can't spell very well. My maths is fucking pretty shit. I don't know my times tables, but I'm not bad at counting the folding, so I'm all right with that. And I know I haven't got any cash on me. I know how to do it I can't say that word. I know how to count it a different way than what English people count it. Right. So if you fold it over one finger, so if that's like the note, you fold it over and then you can just flick it and you count it so much quicker.
Oh,
yeah.
You'll have to show us.
Tommy Bridewell, the gangster.
Yeah, exactly. But I count the 5, see, and I know 5's 100 quid then. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, boom, done.
And are you the best paid rider in this paddock? Because I know me folds, young, and get plenty of folds in my hand.
So you touched upon the business as being a garage. Is that was that your parents' business? And is that where do you work in there? Or?
Not anymore. We did. So we got car and bike garage. Used to just
like MOTs and that type of thing.
Servicing, repairs, all that sort of stuff. And the car garage obviously is still thriving. We sort of finished the bikes because Ollie done it. That was his sort of thing. Then I done it, but I just got bored of servicing motorbikes. It was more fun road testing them than servicing them. So it got to a point where it's like, nah, it's not for me. So luckily at that stage, racing motorbikes was keeping the wolves from the door.
Mm-hmm. and from the mini moto days, I mean, like when I came through from the mini moto to the big tracks, there was kind of like Metro Kits, Contis, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Did you end up going that route?
No, mini motos, Aprilia 125s.
The Super Teens.
That's it. Sorry, Super Teens.
So was Ian Newton running it back then?
That's it. Yeah.
And who was in
who
your
was cheating
year?
Then him.
Who was in your like sort of cohort of riders?
No one. I can't actually remember. When it was like Ollie did it years before, and that was your Crutchlows, your Sykesies, that kind of era, Davies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they was all cheating, obviously. But no, but when I was doing it, I did the club side of it, so I didn't do that championship, the Aprilia Super Team thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then just went on to little 125 GP bikes. And then obviously racing just kind of took off from then, but that's where we're here now, I suppose.
And what's the age gap between you and Ollie?
3 years.
So was it a kid?
Ollie was older, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
So was he always, ahead of you, and then you were sort of playing catch up in terms of your career?
Yeah, and I guess you could say that in 2007 was the first year we kind of met back on superbikes. Mm-hmm. I got probably fast tracked into superbikes from Tony G with a Valdi, because it was like I did the R6 Cup, done well, went to Super Sport, struggled a bit, and instead of then perhaps having another year in Super Sport or going Super Stock or something, it was do you want to just ride the superbike? And I was a bit like, yeah, let's do it, sort of thing. So obviously that was a hard time, because with 2007, then that obviously with Ollie, then for a young lad, you lose perspective on life. Like I said in the other interview, you lose all perspective. You don't care. You don't care if you almost walk in front of a bus and go, well, hit me if you want. And then I kind of probably dodged many a bullets from after Ollie was killed for probably 3 months. I was going through hedges on motorbikes thinking, got through that. And I'm not saying it in a stupid way, but you just chanced your luck in life so much, And then I kind of perhaps got it out of my system, and then thought, you know what, all I do know is motorbikes from obviously a young age, so I need to perhaps get back to what I know I can do and go for that. So yeah.
I see. Do you listen to the show?
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
you do listen to the show now.
Yeah.
As you probably gathered by
Just
now,
before
I know
bed.
nothing. No, it's the accents, you know. We just get I'll tell you what. I think, you know, like population and pregnancy's gone through the roof since we hit radio. I think that really is, you know, we're like the smaller Barry Whites of the world. Let's face it. But no, as you like, you're probably giving up. Now then.
Hey, the
there's a graphic. I'll just put my cigar down. Yeah, there you go. But no, like, all seriousness. So what I love about this show is I'm learning about riders and like learning. Like, I haven't seen that interview, but the one thing I did ask myself, and the great thing about the BSB team, the commentator team, is they fill in the gaps for us.
Yeah.
And when you start a race, you can see you are on a different level. You know, you're pre-start, and you can see you're talking to someone, and it's like, bloody hell. And at first you're thinking, is that just a warm-up? I had no idea about Ollie until you start learning about these things. And it's just at that moment, it's just like, bloody hell, you know, and what like...
It's a beautiful connection. That and
exactly.
it highlighted that on that Eurosport thing.
Exactly.
And, like, the fact you've got them incorporated into your logo and sort of everything about you, Ollie's there with you.
And that's the thing, I wouldn't ever wish or would hate for anyone else to ever have to go through what I did. But you instead of turning it into doom and gloom and negative and, you know, feel like the world owes you something from it, you know, you kind of have to turn it into positive's an odd word to say, but something,
a driving force kind
exactly that. And that's really where I went, you know, and with it, you know, everything I do is, do you know, the sad bit a little bit for me is not fully knowing what my way in life would have been if I didn't lose Ollie, as odd as it sounds, because I'm not the most fucking, like, I get up now every morning, I'll go training, I'll train as hard as anyone. My mental state in mind is I'm mentally stable, generally, just, but
yeah, after year 9 everything went up from there, let's face it. There you are.
But I'm always mentally fighting myself quite hard. You know, I'll go to holiday with my wife Stace to Mexico, and it's fucking 40 odd degrees, and every day I have to go running, like, you know, and it's very exhausting when you're sat by a pool, fully inclusive, everyone's drinking whiskey and coke all day, and it looks fucking lovely, and then I'm thinking, fucking hell, I can't because I got to go running tonight.
Do you feel like you have to do that, or do you do that purely because you're a British Superbike rider and you want to win, or is that just a life thing? Like, even if you weren't racing, would you think you would do that?
I kind of feel like it went in. I'll contradict myself a little bit in a minute. I kind of felt like I had to do it to show my commitment, dedication, and push as hard as I can for Ollie, because Ollie trained like I'd never met anyone before. So I was like, well, I got to do that. Oddly, the past year and a half, I've done less training than I have done in the last 6 years. So I'll now train in a different way instead of working all day and then thinking, well, I've got to go running. I've just ambled 100 sheets of plasterboard up and down flights of stairs, dripping in sweat, arms like Popeye, and I haven't then got the mental state where I think, oh, but I still got to go running, you know, because I'm exhausted straight away. Mm-hmm. But if I can't sit on a sofa, and that's probably my downside. So I physically don't stop all day, every day. I do not stop. I'm doing something, walking dogs, or we do a bit of house, like, property renovation, and we've got 2 houses at the minute that we're renovating, and I kind of sight forming it, but try to cut corners, so I've got my own tipper, and I'm loading 5 ton of soil up and dumping that in.
Counting your folds.
Exactly, yeah. I'm doing that, yeah. Look. So, but it's that side of it is, like, life's nice, you know, life's nice.
But
yes!
Yeah, he was talking about his Tourette's before the show.
Exactly, yeah.
But you're saying you've actually downplayed your training a little bit over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be very honest. Your results.
You don't do nothing.
No. Look at the chassis on it. Of course, I don't do anything, son. But no, but the last couple of years, your result. You've come.
Yeah, exactly.
The bike, your riding, your capability, everything's gone up. Now, do you think that's is it the fact that
Linked.
you're taking a little
100%? Because do you know why? Is I train as hard as I did in the winter on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday coming into a race, and then I would be exhausted before I got on the bike. I had to do a fitness test, not to my own want, but I was forced, let's say, not forced, but pushed to do a fitness test, because the team I rode for didn't feel like I was fit. I then done a fitness test, and part of why I now don't train as hard is because the fitness tests I done, not blowing my own trumpet, basically turned around and said that you're the fittest rider we've ever had in here, but your problem is you do too much.
You're exhausted.
Exactly. And he said you should be going to Friday, you should be getting to Thursday feeling shit because all you want to do is go training, because then when you get on the bike you're sharp and you're ready to go. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I do minimal, maybe do a swim on Monday, and that's it, right? So do you know from the last round to this round I probably trained 5 times, I expect.
All right.
So nothing. I used to train twice a day, morning, night, and it was never like. Anyway, fucking hell, people get bored of training, so shut up about that, then.
But I know
it's fucking boring, the show now. You can't carry on like that.
The point of being, it's like overtraining, so it can be
You're
bad.
going on about it now. Sort him out.
Anyway,
Where's my bat?
I tell you what. One thing that I wanted to mention, I've actually had a few messages.
Sorry, what do you want to talk about?
I've actually had a few messages from the podcast of people saying that they didn't used like after doing the podcast they like think I'm all right now, basically along those lines. But in 2018, obviously at like the team you were riding for, the Mavuno, the Halsall team. We'll go into like what happened there, but I ended up riding the bike after you, and there was almost like a bit of a conspiracy, like as if it was all linked, and the fact that it was as if I'd already got the ride like before. And I just wanted to clear that up, that I
trust me, you're welcome to it.
I only got in touch with that team and got sorted after you'd like left the team, basically.
He's trying to say
there was no overlap, but I have had messages.
Right, the jacket's coming off. That's it.
I have had messages.
He's coming through a letterbox.
I have had messages criticising me as if like I like sort of
good.
Yeah.
No, I know certainly that wasn't the case.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. That's
so just to
basically
clear
what
that
you want.
All right. Do you want to give him a kiss? Or something like that? Do you want to give him a kiss?
I tell you what, we had Jeff Crust on the show the other day, and just this was the year before, and just to clear something up, Jeff said,
I'm sweating here now.
Jeff mentioned the fact that halfway through this season you were with them, you'd said something about like getting a bike next year, and he thought that the reason that year didn't go to plan was because it was basically like an in-between year where you were kind of didn't have another ride. You were sort of riding for them for 1 year, and then you had something planned the following year.
Okay, yeah.
Is that a fair comment from him?
No. The problem was with that scenario was promise the earth and delivered nothing really.
Right.
I'm not going to hold no punches with it. It's just very, very good salesman in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. One thing I've wondered about. Is it just the bike though?
No. To be fair to them, look, they're a superbike on the grid, and they're not a championship winning superbike or team. As bad as it is to probably say that, I've now rode for a team that is able to do that in the work
delivered the goods.
Exactly, in the work ethic, in the difference. It's just day and night, day and night. We're still analysing data to try and fix a bike for tomorrow here at Alton Park, and they'll be doing that until it's fixed. So, to be fair to them, look, I actually still get on all right with the guys there, and they do put a nice, tidy bike out. It's always bolted together, but it's kind of never the latest stuff, you know, and you know what Superbikes is like. If you've not got the top stuff with the top crew, with the top everything, you're not going to win races. It is that simple. So the competition's too high.
Fair enough. And like, what's your take on the whole Halsall thing from the year after? Like, your sort of your story
You
of
got
that
me
year.
kicked out of a ride. No. It was, you know, Martin. I got on very well with Martin. We had a great relationship. He phoned me and said, "Look, I think I'm going to get Colin Wright obviously involved." And I thought it was all positive. You know, I thought it was about expanding, growing the team into bigger and greater things. I think, unfortunately for me and for Martin, I feel that running a factory Ducati and factory Yamaha team with unlimited budget is a lot different to then the modern British Superbikes with sponsor restraints. You know, there's not endless pots of budget, and you have to really work hard to make a team and a result come. It doesn't. You can't buy it. Basically, you know, you just can't buy the result.
I didn't even know there was a max budget. What is the max?
No,
budget?
no. There's no max budget. But what I'm saying is back years ago, your Airwaves, Yamaha, your in Ducatis and that, there was much more money involved, like,
right, I hear what
like
you're
£1
saying.
million
Right.
sort of budgets.
Now
Now
when
it's
they
a bit
won on
more.
the Yamaha, I think that year it was 1.4 million with
Exactly.
Camille and Ellison for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
two-man
Whoa.
for a two-man BSB team.
Whoa.
And a lot of that was on the electronics.
That's a lot of folds.
Yeah. How long get sore thumbs doing that, wouldn't you?
I think that was to do with the electronics, and that's why we have one make electronics now. Yeah, but
Exactly.
and so you just didn't think that sort of worked out.
Yeah, I get criticised for saying it, but I could run a championship winning team with £1.5 million budget, Magneti Morelli electronics, two of the strongest riders that year in the championship, and now I've rode the Yamaha, the Milwaukee Yamaha back then, and the bike, the chassis was phenomenal. So put World Superbike spec engine in back then, put factory electronics on it. That's why Cameo was so dominant, you know. So look, like I say, I get criticised for completely kind of tearing anyone in, you know, a new arsehole in that scenario, and it's hard because I've kind of forgotten the shit years a little bit now, you know.
Like, I was just about to say what turned out at the time probably felt like a bit of a disaster was actually probably the best thing that's ever happened to you in your racing career, and
Exactly,
it just so coincided with Taylor Mackenzie leaving Wilf's team, and it was kind of like a match made in heaven really for British Superbikes. And the last few years, you know, you've certainly been riding at your best. Got your first race, it was here actually, I think, wasn't it, Alton Park?
Yeah, for the team, their first race win. That was obviously a nice sort of one to get. But I say it's hard because they are the team that I work for, share my passion, and that's quite hard to find in racing nowadays. And that's why we do get on very well, because they are a small dealership. You know, Wilf doesn't have to go racing. He doesn't go racing to make money. You know, he spends a lot of his own money to do it. And to reward them with such strong results, like they're a small bike shop. We do everything. We don't get any factory support as such. Everything's available to us at a price, like it is PBM. But obviously with budget kind of restraints in some degree, we've not got an endless pot of going, well, there's a new €20,000 swinging arm, should we try it? Oh, it's not really any better, we'll put it back in the lorry. You know, we can't do that. So it's nice to then reward the team with such strong results when we didn't need to do that.
And I mean, last year, absolutely mega year.
Right.
And one thing that came across to me a lot was on the interviews, you were like consistently banging in the podium, seconds, thirds, obviously getting some race wins. But every time you were second and third, you know, there's in that full grid, it's like one of the best results. But you always tear yourself down on the podium.
I get criticised for that.
You'll be on like second, and you'll be like really like sort of like pissed off about it and the things. But looking back on that year, you must be really proud of what you achieved.
I am for definite, because when you then look who I was competing against, you know, it's obvious that Scott is a phenomenally strong rider, and Josh is obviously a phenomenally strong rider. So I wasn't against, you know, any sort of, you know, the competition was unbelievable. The hardest bit and frustrating bit for me was racing the same bike, not racing a different rider, but just racing the same bike, because it just genuinely, like, where I could race a Yamaha now or follow a Honda or whatever, and I'd go, right, if I dig really deep in that sector, I'm a lot stronger in that sector, and then I could line up the pass. It's so much easier. Where with them, identical. So where they were strong, I was strong. Where they were weak, I was weak. That's what made it hard, really hard. And that's what is sort of frustrating me a little bit this year, because I come into this year with a different mentality, with a slightly different way of riding and a slightly different setting direction on the bike to win more races. So instead of making my bike very good for qualifying laps, like I could lap, if I was on my own, like Donington, I could lap record pace every single lap. Like, you know, I remind myself a lot like Lorenzo, and it's just you two didn't even pick up on that, did you? Then
no, not at all. I'm just so no.
I'm fucking chatting away. Then no, I was anyway. Shut up then. So I remind myself a little bit like Lorenzo in the sense of, if you ever watched him, he could get out front a little bit like Brooksy does.
In a rhythm.
Just bump.
Robotic.
Exactly, yeah. But this year we've kind of changed that sort of theory. So at Donington we got out front and I was banged every lap, won the race. But when I'm not in that position, I ended up just sitting there too much and not able to make a pass. Where now we've set the bike up that if I'm sat in third, I can just make a big gulp and then make a lunge and make the corner. So go from third, like it's Snat, went from third past both PBM bikes into the hairpin for the lead. Where last year the bike wouldn't have allowed me to have done that, to be honest. So yeah, it's a positive, but with obviously a lot of other negatives this season.
Yeah, and obviously we had a little bit of chat about it when I first came in. The superbike class this year, everyone's talking about like the new tyres and how much it's changed the bike, especially from this track last year. You know, yourself and Brooksy were just absolutely on the money. Yeah. And coming into this round, I would have bet my life it would have been you and Brooksy, like just
you is a dead man. Yeah.
But what? Expert people will be listening to this, and some people probably don't even know that the tyres are different. But just explain what the changes in the tyres and how is that affecting your bike on the track?
Yeah, it's undescribable. I don't actually know how to describe how it's affecting my bike, because Donington Sunday is the only time we got it right. Like I say, we got it right.
I've got a quick question.
Go on,
why can't you use the old tyres?
You're not allowed.
Not allowed? Is it literally that simple?
Yeah,
it's not like it's...
They're like kind of discontinued. It's like...
oh, for God's sake.
Yeah,
right.
It's like just old is such, but old is gold, innit? Like Walker. But we have to use the new tyres, obviously, because it's a controlled tyre. The difference with the tyres is they're a bigger profile. They make the whole bike sit quite a bit higher. They're taller and wider as such. So generally, the confusing part is Monte Blanco, we were on the new tyres and the bike was on rails. Jerez, we were on new tyres. Again, bike was on rails. It seems like since the coronavirus and then we've restarted BSB, we've had our asshole against the wall big time.
So,
big time.
In the tracks, I've never been to those two abroad tracks, but characteristic-wise, are they very similar to British circuits?
Monte Blanco's not day and night different. Very heavy braking, hairpins, fastish corners. But
so like you say, like a light switch, something's gone wrong.
This track this year compared to last year. What's different?
Fuck yeah!
It's like going into the corners, mid corners, exits.
Like you say, it's you. It's consistent because it's you and Josh. But it's like you just said.
I don't know how you describe it, because normally you would. So as a racer, you go, right, I've got terrible chatter. How do I get around that chatter? I'll find a way. You know, you find a way of adapting. So easy fix is normally get on the gas. You know, brake hard, upright, get your braking done. It starts chattering. Get on the gas. You'll drive through the chatter. Problem solved. The problem is at the minute is the chatter starts on the brakes, it continues off the brakes, and then it continues on the gas. So there's no option, there's no solution for it. There's physically, I've tried everything, the team's tried everything, there's no solution to fix it. The conversation I had last night with Olins was, we have a control tyre. Pirelli are not going to change it just because the Ducatis are mainly struggling now. So we've just got to suck it up. So what are we going to do with the suspension to fix it for the tyres? And at the minute, we don't have the answer.
Is World Superbike's got the same tyres?
Yes, they've had it for the last couple of years. Yeah.
And do you get any sort of help, or is there any correspondence?
The problem is they are steering their bike a lot on the rear, and you can do that when you've got the full electronics. You know, if you think now in BSB, if you tried to turn the bike on the rear, you'd be fucking into the next town, wouldn't you? So.
And speaking of World Superbikes, obviously, I think it was last year or the year before, you had a chance with the Go 11 team for a few rounds, and you held a real good account of yourself, standing for Eugene Laverty. What was the experience like riding in the World Superbike paddock?
Good, yeah. It helped because it was Imola for me. Have you ever rode Imola?
Nah.
Oh, it's like Alton Park on steroids, bigger and better. It is so much fun. So that was nice, really nice one to do. And then Jerez is probably not fully suited to my style, but it is a lovely track to ride. So the hard bit with the standings I done, it was a bit of not a favour, a bit of a like, I help the team out and help Ducati out because they wanted the bike on the grid.
And you wanted some folds.
Yeah, no, it probably cost me some folds. No, but I at track time. It was early in the year, and to be honest, it was a new bike for me and the team in BSB. So every ounce of track time I could get was a benefit. So yeah, that's partly the drive to have done that.
Is that the future for you? Do you want to go in the Worlds? Or?
I'd like to. Yeah, I would like to. It's very difficult to get the right package, I think, though, in World Superbikes, isn't it? It's like in BSB, I've got a great team around me. You can, generally be competitive and fight for race wins. Whereas if I go to World Superbikes, you've got Scott, who was very, very strong in BSB last year, who's now in World Superbikes, who's done a phenomenal job, but still seems like Johnny has the upper hand.
Robotic, like you say.
Yeah,
that is phenomenal, isn't he?
He's a phenomenal rider. He's a phenomenal rider, and I think that probably the shame was never seeing him on a Grand Prix bike, really.
Properly anyway.
Yeah, like a proper shot at it, because it's kind of, not that I'm saying World Superbikes is boring, but unfortunately Johnny's made the level, he has. Catch me if you can, and no one can. So it's like, he's not going to slow down just to make the racing interesting, is he? He's just going to win it with ease.
Didn't they start him at the back a couple of races? Wasn't there a rule?
Well, they've done loads of gimmicks to try and make it more exciting, like the reverse grids and all that type of thing. But like you say, he's so good in that class that it kind of makes the racing boring. Now, speaking of other sort of opportunities, you mentioned a bit of road racing. Possibly for
a couple of times you've teased the road races. You have, haven't you? You just you're all third coat no Nicholas, aren't you? Tommy Bridewell, Northwest 200. I'm the man. Oh no, Tommy Bridewell. What a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's the crack? Is it on the bucket list?
Yeah,
the folds,
exactly,
isn't it? We're going to call this episode the folds.
The folds, yeah, definitely. Pretty much. There weren't enough folds. No. Look, I probably get criticised for it. If I was to do the Northwest and the TT, I won't paying for it, obviously. Now, I ain't going to do it for £1,000, am I? And I ain't going to do it for 10 grand. Why would I ride around the TT? And this is where I'm not a true road racer. So this is where my passion is not true road racing. But why would I ride around the TT? For me, a massive risk when I'm strong in England, and I don't need to do it for the fun of it. And now a lot of people say you can't do it for the money. So I'll speak to certain riders and say, yeah, but Tom, that's the wrong attitude. You can't do it for the money. And then I said to him, well, you're not getting paid next year. Are you going to do it? Well, no, it's not the point. Well, it is a point. You wouldn't do it if you didn't get paid. And I just felt like, not that I was chasing the money, but the media that they were pushing with me, like, Tommy's going to do it. And I never actually said, black and white I was ever gonna do it. I went
There
over.
was just hundreds of photos in every magazine.
No,
and
but
any
that,
motorcycle
exactly,
thing.
and that's the problem. I went over to look at it, right?
And you just love a photo, do you, son? You know what I mean? Oh, let me just put some branding on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do me now.
And
Take
the
photo.
next minute, I was in that position, and I'm just
Just as a ballpark figure, obviously the TT's 2 weeks, but obviously there's loads of preparation that goes into it,
Yeah.
and like you say, it is high risk. What figure would you say, right, that's worth doing from?
What would you want? What would you want to do the TT?
I'm out of this conversation because I've been
yeah,
doing it for now for my entire life.
I don't know. I reckon
Because it's got. I know it
I don't know,
sounds
like
stupid.
I don't know. Like,
You
the
were
thing
gonna say
is,
50
Would you
grand.
want?
Fucking greedy
the,
twat.
the thing is, I
Balls.
don't like. For me, I get enough of a buzz out of short circuit racing.
Yeah.
So the money would have to be silly, really, for me to be persuaded to do it. And I think I would be doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
So
no,
I-
exactly, and that's where I was.
You see, this is the
Yeah.
most honest answer. Like, obviously, everyone gives an honest answer on this
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
but that is legitimately straight up.
Yeah.
So
No,
no,
it is,
Billy,
yeah.
would you have a
Which is great.
Would you have, like, save a 30 grand? Would you do
No,
TT?
no.
50?
I feel like
He's thinking about it.
I feel like I'm on a budget eBay here. Tommy Bridewell, low mileage.
Right then, let's
Great
start
model,
a bit
sports
now.
model.
So, no, I reckon.
Mild case of Tourette's.
Yeah, I would. I don't know. How the money would be made up is I don't know. If I was to want a figure to do it, I wouldn't warrant that figure. So if I said, right, I want 100 grand to do the TT, let's take a figure for an example. Do you know, just for an example. I wouldn't
Did
warrant
you just
getting
wink?
paid.
We're on YouTube here, and he just winked. This is brilliant. That's it.
Yeah.
100 grand. Any listeners?
Yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't warrant that.
Yeah.
Why would I deserve to get paid that? I wouldn't, because I probably wouldn't be very good there, like, you know, because the high speed. I'm the sort of person that drives along, and my wife goes mad because I'm driving along, going, God, look at them pheasants fighting out in the field, and then next minute I've nearly gone at the back of fucking 2 or 3 cars because
The concentration.
Yeah, like it must be astronomical.
Now, you've
All,
mentioned...
all your competitors now, we're going to be putting out like random distractions.
Pheasants fighting.
Look at them swingers on the hill.
You've mentioned, like...
Thumbing us off ones.
You've
on
mentioned
the
the
beautiful
whole...
hills of Cheshire.
You mentioned the whole Tourette's thing a few times, and I've seen it a few times myself, and I've heard about it. You coming down the pit lane on the things, and you can hear you cursing and swearing
cursing,
over the
Bit
your
limiter.
Ducati like this. Now,
Is that why pipes
you're
are
very
getting louder?
Yeah.
you are a very vocal rider, I think,
Brilliant.
in the garage and stuff.
Yeah.
And on an average weekend, on an average BSB weekend, how many F's and Jeffs do you reckon you do?
You'd lose count.
Honestly.
But
We have
it's genuinely my just basic vocabulary. Like, is stupid. Like, the only way I can describe it, like I've done before, is I don't hit my hand with a hammer and go, you sod, you know. I'm like fucking hammers through the fucking wall and like F this and you bad. Next minute I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to get the hammer back now because I need the hammer. So it's like it's 100 mile an hour, then back to a bit more normal. And I don't swear. Like, that's why me and Wolf get on quite well, because I don't swear. So if I come in and say, look, the bike's shit there, a lot of teams go, oh, you can't call our bike shit. I don't say shit as in your bike's shit. I'm just saying that
It's a word in the English dictionary.
would they prefer to me? Obviously, they would prefer me to say that your bike's bad there, you know. But I use shit as in bad kind of
Yeah, of course, yeah.
thing, like, you know. So that's where I've always, from many years, got misinterpreted of my passion, and 2, my vocabulary, I guess, to describe things.
And speaking of hitting your hand with a hammer,
Yes.
you're missing a finger.
Missing-
what?
I know,
This
yeah.
is awesome. There you are.
See,
Yeah,
Dom-
I see.
Dom's got a
You
massive
got a
one.
little one as
yeah,
well.
now hold on. My pants are up. How could you tell? There you go. That's it. No.
What's the story behind
Yeah,
that one?
what's the crack there?
That was 2010, I think it was 2010.
By the way, for podcast listeners, he's missing his little finger on his right. I feel
Yeah.
like we're in a police case. The murderer had a missing
and a
finger.
little bit.
Bloody
Oh,
hell.
hold on, both
Yeah,
hands.
both fingers. Yeah. So my small right hand, is that an index finger?
No,
That's an index.
So what's that one?
Little
called?
one. Pinky.
Pinky. So my small pinky, I crashed it Thruxton last chicane, and there was when you remember when there were massive curbs there.
Mm-hmm.
So I crashed it, and my finger got caught under the handlebar and then went into the curb. And just like
Is that when Danny took you out?
no. This was like years and years ago. And then I went to the doctors, and they basically wanted to take nerve endings out of my back of my knee to reconstruct my finger. But as a racer, everyone knows, you see racers with bad little fingers, they don't move, it's hard to get a glove on. So basically I managed to just cut it off. So yeah.
Because what protection are you got? Alpine Star? Are you full
No.
Alpine Star?
Yeah.
So do you get like custom gloves and stuff?
Yeah.
Damn it! I wish you missed the other finger.
No,
I'm
no.
having a nightmare fight. Like I wish you lost that one. That
What's
would be
the
handy.
other finger?
That was just a testing crash, I think, Spain, and it just ground. Went through a stage of struggling with fingers, so that just ground the end off, and then I crashed it Brands and then ripped the side of that ring finger. I think is it called? I think
Yeah, ring finger. Yeah.
So that was that one.
Man.
Here's a good question. What's the most exotic sort of weirdest place you've stuck?
I
your
don't want to now.
no. Only up my nose because I can get my whole finger up my nose. That takes some doing to get it literally. No. Yeah, I can remember sounds bad to say.
One night in Zante.
My little niece, when she was a baby, used to just like, because of their hands, used to like hold onto my little finger. So if she was walking by the side of me, I just hold my little pinky out. That's wrong, innit?
So how long did that? Now your grip actually comes from like it's mad. You know when I suffered this injury, I ended up like googling who's got like hand injuries and motorcycle races, thinking how did they ride a bike? How did they ride a bike? And your hand came up.
Yeah, and then, Bayliss was the same as well.
Bayliss was, but then I used to break with all 4 fingers.
Oh, did
and then
you?
I like went to 2, and then you start thinking how many fingers do you break with? But
I break
looking
with them,
at like.
Really?
That's mad. That you should see the whole. But anyway, but like your optimum grip comes from those. Yeah, your pinky
does it?
and that. So no, I'm just wondering, like, you know, sustaining that injury. How like
I went out first time and I was like, because I really pushed to get it cut off. Because a week later we was racing again, and then when I went back out, I was like, oh yeah, twat, I made a big mistake here, and then I thought, well, fuck now, innit? Because I can't just get it back. So that was really the
hello,
problem.
is something going nice?
You really sewed my finger on. But you just learn, don't you? It's a bit like Hutchie with his right hand gear shift, you know.
Adapt.
Yeah, exactly. Must be so hard. But he probably just gets on a bike now and is just normal. So
He's won a few TTs since
Exactly.
then.
He's riding really well. He's getting back up to speed,
exactly,
Hutchie, and looking really well. And just speaking of like the racing at the moment, obviously this year isn't really going to plan as much as with the issues that you're having with the bike.
Yes.
Whereabouts are you in the championship at the moment?
Ooh, after the race today,
Yeah.
we've unfortunately dropped to 4th. Oh yeah, twat. How do you manage that then?
Well, I woke up in
If
hospital.
you press play on this.
Sorry, by the way,
that,
I've
I
just
can't watch that.
shut
Really?
up, man! You're two missing
honestly,
fingers. Are you?
that turned my guts.
Are you you're a snowflake. You're a swearing snowflake.
I know,
aren't you?
I can't- that
Tommy
turned my
Bridewell,
guts.
British
Oh.
contender. You're a snowflake.
Oh, how do you manage that?
Well,
Is it
that-
a long story show? Is it?
No, wait. Oh no, there's a long story with it. But
Oh,
it's we literally haven't got all night. But it's our sunflower. You ever done the sunflower road?
No.
Again, island there. So I know they invite fast lads like you, and then not so fast lads like me.
it?
So there you go. So anyway, I woke up in hospital, but my mum only lets me go racing with my phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
She says, right, if you come off, son, you don't ring the ambulance, you don't ring Jesus, you ring me first. So anyway, I woke up in hospital like that, caked off me nut, going, oh no, where's my phone? But they cut me levers off and had me phone. And I'm like that. Oh, hi, ma'am, hi. It's yeah, everything's grand. Oh, crash? What crash? What are you on about, silly person? So anyway, so the surgeon comes around going, all right, we're going to have to cut your finger off. And I just see my arm in a band, just going, what are you on about?
Yeah.
So unravelled it, and there's my finger like, oh, thank. He goes, well, we could try and fix it. I can't say, oh no, I've got to go to the Macau Grand Prix in a week and a half.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going there. So I'm going to drag you through a letterbox. No, not dragging
Yeah.
So anyway, well, I filmed them cutting my finger. Oh, it's a long story, so we'll have to go for a pint sometime.
Fuck that.
Yeah. So that makes your stomach there you go then.
not like that.
Yeah,
We
right.
had the Owen brothers on the other day. Just a quick one.
What do you make of the fire blade?
And Andy Brooks incident at Donington.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I feel it was Brooksy come across on Andrew so naughty, didn't he? No. He was serious, then. Tricky. Do you know, like, my honest opinion is Andy had strong pace that weekend, obviously. So the only thing when I watch it back and see is he was a bit too keen to follow his brother. And Glenn passed Josh, and it looked like Andrew was way too desperate to get past Josh so quick. You know, just make a block pass down into your old hairpin. You've got to wait a corner and a half and just make a block pass. It's a tricky one. Like, obviously, Andrew was, I would say, more in the wrong, but it's not all black and white.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not all
the thing.
black and white.
Very diplomatic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. You've done a bit of commentary work, haven't you? I saw you on the
Eurosport. Yeah.
I'll tell you,
yeah,
that's
him
the
the
shaky burn, right? He was sweat like a gypsy with a mortgage.
Can't say his name in here now.
Can you? What?
Why? It just fucking. I get on well with Shaky, but
It gives you quite a hard time, I think.
Yeah, bitch, innit? It's just hard. I shouldn't say it, but it's always like, just digs me out, like, non-stop. It's always like, well, the problem is with Tom is he's always worried about what's in the other garage. I don't care what's in any other garage. Like,
I don't put words in, someone else's mouth.
Exactly,
innit? Yeah, exactly, that's it.
So all of the viewers out there would go, well, that's the trouble with Tom, because Shaky said he worries about what's in other people's garages, i.e. PBM. They've got this swinging arm and I've got this swinging arm, for example.
It's painted a picture for you rather than letting it do it yourself.
I couldn't care less about any of that. Like, you know, we as a team, as Oxford Ducati, worry about ourselves, no one else. You know, our data goes nowhere. It's kept in our lorry. It doesn't get shared with anyone else. And that's how it should be, like, you know. So I wouldn't know the ins and outs of what PBM do. So it does annoy me, Shaky, saying that. And I have no doubt if he listened to this, he'd probably, you know, perhaps try and defend himself. So maybe that's how you can get him on here then, isn't it? Yeah.
No, but it was a great interview of mine, but I could just tell this lad wanted to have his own opinion. I could see you chewing on your lip.
You're a natural in the studio, man. Is that a career? Do you think that's a career for after?
I've just got a face for camera, haven't I? That is the thing.
Wait, there's opinions, son. Opinions are opinions are opinions. But no, it was great. But I could just see, you know, they were asking you a question. You're going, well,
it's hard.
What I really want to say is this, but what I'm going to tell the viewers is this. And I'm going, just say what's on your mind.
No, I tell you what, we'll do like a leaderboard. So we've got this helmet that we're raising money for Macmillan Cancer, so every guest will get it to sign. It comes with a guest book. We're doing a PlayStation leaderboard for it's the TT game.
We're going to pay $100,000 for doing it. Get the folds back.
Dom, John, again.
Yep, I will sort that out, son.
One of the cameras facing that way, and we'll get it sorted.
Sorted out.
So we are doing.
Now, out of all of the riders, like in the paddock, do you have any mates like that? You know.
No.
Is it?
No.
Is it just? Are you sort of in your team, in your garage, but do you not really socialise with any of the riders?
No.
Fair enough. Right. So if you press,
I fucking answered that pretty short, didn't it?
I like it.
No.
Son.
Do you not really knock around with anyone?
No.
But
no, I tell you what I get on actually well with in the paddock now is little Dan Cooper, who does stocks out. Yeah. So
he's from your.
That's
neck
it. Yeah.
of the woods,
We grew up racing 125s and stuff. I say it probably in the wrong way. I get on all right with all riders in some degree, but I, like anything, you're not here to make friends, are you? Mm-hmm. And I know sometimes it's hard, but I never want to be worried about making a harsh move and having to. I'm sorry, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of here to do a job, and that's it, really. So.
You'd never want to have friendships that you would like be compromising on track.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But then out of racing, you know, it's totally different, isn't it? But
right, Dom, are we ready for your quick fire questions?
I haven't got anything, mate.
I've got straight away because I got Jessup.
Right, come on, ready? And we're off.
Do you actually know Jessup? Because he's got a dodgy accent like you, hasn't he? So
he steals a lot of stuff as well.
What do you mean steals a lot of stuff? He was a Ducati man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
no, me and Martin actually got on really well. And
I've gone from I have no friends, I am the Terminator. He's a nice guy. I like him.
He's useless, isn't he? He's no competition to me.
Why did Jessup just decide to stop? What do you know? What he just
ran out of budget.
Hold on,
I'm only joking. The multi-million pound. Now, I think to be fair, he's got his daughter Jessie Lee. He enjoys the motocross side.
Yes.
Probably, you know, takes that a lot more fun in. Fuck, I'm good on this.
Yeah, I was going to say
maybe I should be a developer for PlayStation after I finish.
Right, hold on, right. Is Jessup a trained fighter? You look like a handy little dodgy fella. Do you reckon you could take him?
Who's that? Who's that?
That's a Spanish lad.
Is
called
he?
Raul. Raul.
Not Fernandez.
Now, have you ever dressed up in sex? Like Spanish accent like that?
No.
No, that was very suspicious. Quick, no. That are you sure, son? Like, no.
Sometimes.
No. Sometimes.
I tell you what, I think you're the only person to get this far without crashing yet.
You've jinxed him now.
That's why you said it. No, because now I'm under a flat out.
You are coming on to us.
Okay,
do you know the TT game?
No.
Sorry, the TT course very well.
No, I ain't got a clue. I'll tell you where I do know. Ooh, you bugger. Is what's that village? Flat from here.
Kirkmichael?
Yeah, is it Kirkmichael? I think. Yeah. Fuck, that's crazy.
It's class.
So what one?
What is a daft question then, right? In many moons from now, when you've won multiple championships and all that bollocks, what does the future hold for yourself then? Where can you see yourself? Because obviously what's on the bucket list?
What time do I do anyway?
45.8. Not bad. That's not bad.
Useless.
A little bit behind. No, Michael Rutter. I think is Michael Rutter still leading? Irwin. I think yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But go on. Anything on the bucket list? I got a picture for that.
I guess probably a little. I don't know really. What do I do? Do you know what I mean?
So do you know if you weren't racing right now, do you think you'd just be focusing on your property development?
Yeah. I'd have to obviously for being a grown up and doing a proper job kind of thing, innit? I know it sounds stupid, but you've got your teaching, so it's something you're probably very passionate about. So
you're supposed to be, yes, Chris. Yeah, yes, I am, clearly.
And you'll always get a very good pension, I have no doubt. Us poor taxpayers will help pay that. No, but
you'll be in the higher tax bracket, obviously. So there you go.
I wish, but what would I do? Like I say,
I'm talking about motorcycles. Is it a case you always want to be part of this?
I think I would find it very hard to say, right, well, I'm going to retire from racing now, but I'm going to become a crew chief or something. I'd probably take a lot more passion out of helping young, for definite.
Are you doing anything like that at the moment?
Only with my nephew. Yeah.
Okay. Not the thing. Who's your nephew?
My Freddie Bridewell. So he started racing mini motos this year. Just on in the rookies cool-fab thing, and then I bought him a Oval 110, and he went out on it last week. Well, Tuesday at Wilton Mill. So I enjoy that a lot actually. And to be fair, it's more so just because he enjoys it. So, but take me nephew aside, I'd love to be in a position where I could financially help. I say younger riders, passionate riders probably, people that share my passion, because the money makes the world go round for sure. There's a saying of money's the root of all evil. It's not, because it's what we all live on. But
buys jet skis.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. But it's like if I had the money, I'd 100% love to invest in something that would help bring kids on, I guess. I just feel like, I'm saying in England now, but I just feel like I see some of the kids now to when I was a kid, and it's just probably a different. We're in a different era, aren't we? I never had an iPad, I never had an iPhone. I had
a baseball bat and a letterbox.
Exactly, yeah. But it was like my nan used to say to me, if I ever got in from school and it was nice weather outside and was sat down, it was like, what are you doing? Get outside and play outside. So we'd be on the little go-pads, ride on lawnmowers, little QRs. Never ever, now all you do is see parents shoving an iPad or an iPhone in the kid's face to keep them quiet. It's the easy option, isn't it? So yeah, it's a shame really, and that's why it'd be nice to see some really, really, really passionate kids that their life is just racing motorbikes, nothing else. And it's probably quite hard to find that nowadays.
No, very honest. Very honest.
Well, I think we'll wrap things up. Thanks so much.
Is there anything else you want to get in before we go?
No.
This is your opportunity.
I don't know for this.
I think people should donate for the Macmillan Cancer Support.
This guy is smooth.
Right there with you.
Excellent.
See that? No, I think because to be honest, I always support cancer research financially, and then I say it not in a gaining fan way or whatever, but as a world, as a life we live in, everyone takes so much for granted, and it's a little bit like the NHS. It's a little bit like the ex-military soldiers who fought the wars. It's all of the support that the government should give ex sort of military people that they don't get. And it's just like you say, it's just fuck knows what I was going on about now.
No, like you say, people should give more, but like you say, give us some money there.
Exactly,
give us some
yeah.
money
Tell you
for
what,
the
one thing I didn't actually ask where you were in the championship. What went fourth at the
After
moment.
today,
so
yeah.
still in with a chance of winning the championship this year.
Yeah, a bit of an uphill battle.
Is there a showdown?
No.
No.
It's
They've
straight
eliminated
through.
the showdown thing.
But
just
with three races at every meeting, obviously you've got another 2 tomorrow, and then
yeah.
another 3 and another 3. So you've
Yeah.
got 8 races left. Loads of points up for grabs.
And to be like you say, you can't be negative. You have to be positive. We've got obviously underlying issues with the bike that we're struggling with. But if we can get on top of that, which we will, it's just when, because it's not a 5-minute fix, unfortunately. So hopefully, we can get on top of that and get some answers, and then we'll really start taking momentum, because we're very much a passenger at the minute on the bike instead of going right. I'm very confident as a rider, and I know it sounds bad to say, but that race then I can't almost watch it back, because I kind of watch it and think, if I had last year's tyres, fucking I would have finished 20 minutes before him, sort of thing. But you know what I mean? It's like, you got to be confident, and it's cocky and confident, but I feel like you ride to your main competitors kind of level, and I do feel like last year me, Josh and Scott
were
that level, and it was always the three of us that quite regularly were out front and gone. And it was always because of the Ducati, obviously. Everyone would say, it's the Ducati, it's unbeatable, it's not fair. We got docked, RPM straight away before we turned a wheel. But it's not that. It's the fact that you had 3 riders that wanted to beat each other more than ever, that kept pushing the boundaries. And I think that sort of reflects in today's lap times a little bit, that last year I was doing a 33.9, low 34s the whole race, and now it's miles away, and I'm not.
Is the whole pace of the grid slower?
Yeah. The whole pace is, but I feel like it's because no one's able to push that boundary. So if I was out there doing a 33.9 or a 34 flat, everyone else has got up their game to beat me, haven't they? Mm-hmm. And at the minute, there's no one doing that. So yeah, hopefully we'll get on top of our problems, and then we'll be strong.
Is there a chance that Pirelli might change a tyre again? No, I'm just thinking, because
they're always developing, aren't they? Yeah,
of course, they're always developing. But I mean, like, there just seems to be not complaints. Complaints the wrong word, but there's just so much unfamiliarity with the tyre, which I've personally never heard throughout all the times. It's slightly different, but there is a distinctive change.
And I think
with the tyre for all the teams,
it's like anything as well. Is if it was over 12 rounds, you've got a lot more time to fix it. As such, where when you've got a condensed, still class is obviously a British Championship, only over 6 rounds, all of a sudden you run out of time very quick. We're over mid-season now, aren't we? So before you know it, end of play tomorrow, we've only got 2 rounds left. So that is the trouble.
And usually that would be in the showdown, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
And it's like end of season.
But before that, you've had 9 rounds to make new bits, new swinging arms, new stuff to have obviously to fix stuff. But we're not in that position, and hopefully we can get on top of the issues and then come back a lot stronger for next year. But like I say, I am certainly pointing our forward, and I feel like if we can get it sorted, we'll get the momentum to claw some points back.
Damn right.
That's mega. Well, thanks so much.
No problemo.
And we'll catch up with you sometime soon. But best of luck for the rest of this weekend. 2 races. By the time this podcast goes out, it'll be after the weekend.
And you'll be leading the championship, so second-hand news. So there we go.
I don't know if it's mathematically possible, but
he's the genius here.
Yeah,
so there we go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, thank you
2
so much.
2 equals 3. Can you do any timetable? Could you do any like?
Throw him a question. Do a timetable.
What
Anyone.
is then? Look at him. He's like,
Go on, bring it on,
Yeah, you
massive.
fucking want it then. Could you do like 63 times 15?
945, I think.
What is it?
Go on, 63 times.
15.
And the answer is, kids.
What did you say?
945.
Shite.
What is it? How the fuck do you work that out?
Well,
though?
you get it, times 15 is quite an easy one because you times it by 10.
All right, massive. Go on.
Yeah.
Then.
Times it by
All
10
right.
and then half it and add them together. But I'm not.
Yeah, but-
if you give us a random one, probably
You
not.
sound like
to
it's
be honest.
Ducati down pit.
Do you, know
lane.
what, do you know one thing? I'm not actually that. I was never top set in maths, and I've never been naturally good at maths. I just worked really hard when I was at school. So
Did you like school then?
No, I didn't love it, but I got stuck in, and I like
Were
the
you a
fact maths
teacher's
was
pet?
either right or wrong. So I hated English, but because it was all like interpretation and like
Yeah.
what does this poem mean to you, and so I hated that. But like
You're into Romeo and Juliet, you horny fucker, I expect. That's in trouble, yeah. Put on a bit of Romeo and Juliet and he's off he goes, that's it. Oh no.
like maths and science.
Christopher, get your hands out your pants.
Exactly, yeah. Trying to pay puppet pocket or whatever it is.
Oh my God. Well,
I tell you one thing before we wrap this
We're
up.
trying
One
to
thing,
tidy this up
one thing
here.
I really admire a lot is, do you know all these the fifth wheelers that yous have got?
Yes.
They're like caravans, but
Yeah.
yours comes on a lorry.
That's it.
It's such a pad for a weekend.
I drive that as well.
Do you?
It's amazing how aggressive you get driving a lorry.
So did
all
you,
of a
did you have to
sudden-
do a special license?
Yeah,
HGV.
yeah.
HGV, that's it. But I'm just like cars pull in front of me. Arms are going. I'm nearly trying to jump out the window, and Stacey's like, "What are you doing? You know, why you just cut in front of me, didn't he?" And I'm terrible in the lorry, but in my van, I'm like a normal driver. I'm very respectable, to be honest.
Cutting up lorries.
Hilarious. Do you know how like the big RVs, like the sort of big bus ones, you know,
Yeah.
like the top of the range ones would be like sort of $250,000 type of things,
yeah.
but like you can pick up a hand one for like say 50-60 grand.
Yeah.
No, them fifth wheelers. Obviously, you need either a truck or a thing, but the actual fifth wheel, like the
motorhome
caravan bit,
part.
yeah, the motor,
Yeah.
a decent one. What can you pick
25 grand.
up? Really?
Oh, it's astronomically cheaper than
Big
motorhomes.
RV.
Yeah. It's
And there's loads of
astronomical.
space with the
Oh,
slide
massive.
outs.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
are. They are. I know it sounds stupid, but it is obviously nice to have a bit of home from home because it's just nice.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. But to be honest, it sounds stupid. I spend 90% of my time down in the garage with the lads. I'll leave here now, go to hospitality and have a quick swift Moretti on tap. Go on then. And
Can I come? Yes,
yeah,
good.
exactly. Yeah. But there was football on tonight, actually, wasn't there?
Oh, is
Do
it?
you like
Yeah.
football?
No.
I don't like football. He likes football.
I like drinking beer with football.
I'm not being funny. We've been trying to tidy up this interview for like 8 minutes now.
Oh,
now
that's
we're
good,
talking
that's
about
good.
football.
He was
there.
dick swinging with his math questions, wasn't he?
One more. Give him one more. One more. Come on. Before we go, come on. Just
What
throw one in
is,
there. Nothing with 15 because massive here can sort that out.
What
so.
is another times table? Because that's all I know of. What is 39 times 46? He's put his hand on his head now. Look.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
Why not?
In-
That's negativity. See?
wait there. 39 times 46.
Yeah. Have a think.
But-
no pressure.
Nah,
Everyone-
I can't do that in mental maths.
Go on.
Really?
Go on. Have a stab.
40
Proper stab. Proper stab.
I can't do that.
Really?
Yeah, all my students will be watching this.
I know.
in maths. No, I can't do it. Go on, what is it?
1,794. Wait for it. Oh, I knew it was that all of a sudden. Yeah.
No, I'm not that good at maths.
Watch
No.
this. You'll leave. You'll go, Dominic, I blatantly knew that. So
I know,
I just didn't want to make her feel bad. You know what I mean? There we go. But honestly,
Yeah,
here,
no.
we're going to have to let you go, get you to be a Moretti. But
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank
it's
you,
been
guys.
absolutely great crack.
Yeah.
And yeah, good luck with the championship.
Good luck the rest of the season, mate. Take
Thanks,
care.
guys. See you
Cheers.
in a bit.
Click, buy, deliver with the two-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chersin the Racing.